It's Bellamy's on KIIS with Larry McKay and Digger Clark. It's 7:32, and it's time to tell you what Digger and the late Humphrey Bogart have in common. Well, a lot of people are under the misconception that the Gerber baby was a portrait of Humphrey Bogart painted by his mother back when he was a little tyke, several months old. My trivia encyclopedia, written by Mr. Fred Elworth, who's done all the research, says that is an error. The portrait of Humphrey Bogart when he was a baby was actually when he was a Mellon's baby, M-E-L-L-I-N-S, for Mellon's baby food. And guess who else was a Mellon baby for Mellon's baby food? None other than Ingram Digger Clark, born in Aberdeen, South Dakota, back in, 1924. And he brought in a picture of little Digger himself. I wish, here, let me hold it up to the microphone. Look at that. Look at those cute dimples. It has to be Digger because it has that same little curled over ear and that same little goofy grin. And it says, in quotes, "We are advertised by our loving friends, Mellon's Food Company." KIIS. So Bogey and Digger were both Mellon's baby food babies. Oh.
Well, that does it for a Friday. My thanks to Rudy Elef for helping me out these past 3 hours. I'm headed on down toward the golf tournament. See you all there. I hope to see a lot of you there tomorrow. We're going to broadcast over KPRZ from 9 until 11 o'clock. Hope to see you there. Stay tuned for Scott O'Neill over KPRZ Los Angeles. And
Hey, Dick.
Yeah?
Mr. Whittinghill.
Yes?
This is Digger. I just thought maybe it was time to sign this thing off. I mean,
well, do you mean...
You know what they say, a man in his salad years. It's a long time from May to December.
Yes, I know what you mean. I know.
Well, it can be a long time from 4 to 7, too.
Yes, I know what you mean. I'm so... There you go. He runs pretty fast for a fat fellow, doesn't he? I'm so old, Digger, you know, that when I go to Mexico, I get the walks. So I'm walking out the door, huh? All right, I'll see you Monday. Have a nice weekend. And until Monday at 4:05, this is Whittinghill thanking you very much for listening. Now, if you'll excuse me.
I'm walking out the door with you on my mind.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Everybody, 6 o'clock with Larry Morgan at KIIS Los Angeles, playing the hot hits.
102.7 KISS FM gives you Kissmas cash. It's easy to win. Just listen for the sound of Kissmas.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
When you hear it, be the designated caller, and you'll win $100 of Kissmas cash, plus the gift of music.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
It's Kissmas cash from 102.7 KISS FM.
8-foot punch.
Worked all week, and I wish there was a kind of a rhyme for jerk. Ladies and Dobermans, if you missed it last week, I am so glad that you are here to witness the unedited version of Cold Hearted from Paula Abdul, who's been the target of much controversy. Is it her voice? Is it not her voice? Here it comes, the real master, which was stolen from the record company exactly 7 days ago today. This is the one with Paula Abdul and her voice. Listen carefully.
He's a cold-hearted snake. Look into his eyes. Uh-oh. He's been telling lies. He's a cold-hearted snake. Look into his eyes. Uh-oh.
And on the phone, the one and only, hello?
Hi, Matt. This is Paul Abdul.
Paula, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your busy schedule to call and clear up this rumor about you and your voice and all that.
Well, thanks for playing my song again. I'm glad my public gets to hear my real voice.
I certainly am, too. Would you do us a favor since you're on the phone here? Blow that whistle, would you?
It's 5 o'clock and it's quitting time. And I still think you're a piece of shit. The following radio program will be broadcast directly from superhero headquarters located in the city. Evildoers, cover your ears. The mighty Tick is about to overtake the radio airwaves for justice.
The Fox Kids Countdown.
Kiss FM.
Jack, I want you to draw me like those French girls, wearing this and only this.
This portion of the KISS Steam Room from Farillo's Steam Room is brought to you by Farillo's Steam Room. And to open the second hour, we're going to have one of my real pals at KISS. And gosh, I love this man. Maybe it's because he's more from my era. I don't know why. But anyway, his name is Digger Clark. He's the engineer that I work with every day when we're trying to put together actualities that I gather at the football games or the baseball games or whatever. And Digger, why don't you tell us a little about KISS? You've been around there, I guess, ever since Amy Semple McPherson was around.
Well, almost, Bud. I started in May of 1950. We used to be in Inglewood many years ago, called KEST, and then we moved to the Spring Arcade building in the golden days of radio when they had announcers instead of disc jockeys. Do you recall that? You're about a year younger than I am.
Announcers?
Yeah, I remember announcer. And they stood up and they had a pipe and held their hand to their ear.
Oh, yeah. The fellows that used to, like Jimmy Wallington and those kind of people.
Well, here, Bud, Ken Carpenter worked here.
He worked at KISS?
In the early 30s.
Really?
Harry Von Zell was on our staff, way, way back.
Harry Von Zell?
And Fred Shields of Alka-Seltzer.
Harry Von Zell did this before he went to Home Savings, I guess.
That's right. Long time ago.
He's doing
he was
very
saving
well.
His money then.
Yes. Yes.
And well, we used to do a lot of remotes, barbershop quartets at restaurants and
barbershop quartets.
Yeah, right. And we had an Italian restaurant downtown that might hit a chord.
What was the name of it?
It was down near, not too far from Little Joe's, but it was off the City Hall more, where all the politicians went for lunch. And it also had sawdust on the floor like Little Joe's does.
Costa Grill? Was that the name
Might
of
have
it?
been. I don't remember.
Yeah, sure. I remember that place.
And the singers at lunch, when people were there, broadcast, and then there would be a police remote. You know how they used to do it.
Yeah, well, that had to be the Costa Grill. Joe Costamagna was a great singer.
Is that right? Well,
yeah.
Very possibly. And town hall party with about 3 hours of Western. You know how we had orchestras, and remember orchestras before they played records?
Yes.
Actually, people played these instruments.
Are you getting down on today's musicians?
Me? Well, you and I know Artie Shaw and Benny Goodman and people like that, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
And even we go to Nelson Riddle, who's a lot newer, and Les Elgard and some of those.
Tell us more about the early days of KISS and the early days of radio.
We had a cowboy singer who had a lisp. He was tremendous. He used to sing when Twilight on the Twale. The boom is on
Twilight on the Twale?
And the boom is on the swage. And he had a health food sponsor that had a wafer called Hickory Lick. And it was called, he would always say Hickory Wick, so I would have to do the commercials, and I couldn't. He was a wonderful man, but I couldn't look at him without breaking up.
Well, you were on the air then.
I was an announcer way, way back when you were probably in kindergarten.
What were some of the commercials you did besides Hickory Wick?
Well, we had commercials for piano stores and for sewing machine companies, vacuum cleaners.
Could you recall one of the commercials you did then?
No, I wish I could.
You couldn't do that?
Everything was live then, and you had to make the phone ring. And if you didn't get so many calls, you probably went somewhere else next week looking for another job.
I know about that kind of work. We're still doing that here at KISS. I'm in that business now. You're telling me that I'm, 40 or 50 years too late?
Yes, you are. But we did it a long, long time ago. And we had a Harry Golder who gave me this name, Digger, that I don't know what it means, but I've always had it. I was the announcer on the Lone Ranger when it was a big radio show at WXYZ in Detroit. So we were staff here together. Tremendous voice. He was the one that did that fiery horse with the speed of light and all that.
You were at a Detroit station?
No, he worked for us.
Oh, I see.
And so he named me Digger, and to this day I don't know why. Maybe because I dig people a lot.
I don't know. I always assumed that maybe in your early days you had worked at a graveyard.
No, I do sound that way. I'm kind of pedantic, But,
gee, now you sound like Howard Cosell.
Well, I tape him every day, and probably some of it rubs off on me, but working with you is, I think, a real privilege and even an honor, and I really enjoy it. Even though we've known each other, 2 or 3 years, something like that.
Well, 3 years, right.
3 years. And I've known a lot of people in radio, but you impressed me a lot more than many, many others I've worked with over the years, and I really am glad to be on your program.
Get your hand out of my pocket.
Okay, here. 10.
Digger Clark.
No, I mean it sincerely.
He is a joy to work with. And
thank you.
You really are. I tell you, every day when I come in and see you, I always feel better.
Hi, Digger. I'm Huell Hauser, and I'm here to tell you that you are definitely a piece of California's gold.
You know, you've turned out to be a pretty smart kid.